Hello, what's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for joining me here this morning on Narcissism 101 Cracking the Code with me, Paul Wisdom. Good morning. Hope everybody's having a good Friday morning so far. We're going to be starting the weekend this weekend. You guys excited for your weekend? What do you got planned? But, anyways, what we're going to talk about today. And before I get to what we're going to talk about today, if you would like a one-on-one session, please email me paul.wisdom_03@hotmail.com, or you can send a text message to 647-406-3057. If you want to talk, if you want to vent, if you need some more advice, if you're trying to figure out whether the person you're dealing with is in fact a narcissist or not, please feel free to reach out to me. Just to know, for those who are new to my channel, if you're new, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you being part of the community. If you would like to call, please send a text to the number and just let me know your name and let me know that you've been watching some of my narcissism videos. If you just call the number, I may just block the number just because I just don't answer random numbers, because like I said, there are a lot of predators out there, and you do need to be careful who you share your information with, and there are people who just want information from you. So just be careful, guys, and just do me that favor. Just send a text to the number, let me know it's you, and then I can give you the help that you need, okay? So I've got a really good one for you guys today, and you guys better stick around for this one. I know you guys are going to enjoy this one today. The title of this video is, you want to know who's more dangerous than a narcissist? It's not what you think. Yeah, we're going to talk about who is more dangerous than a narcissist. So we all know, and before I tell you who's more dangerous than a narcissist, we all know that narcissists are in fact dangerous, right? We all know that narcissists thrive off of, what do I say in all my videos? Chaos, confusion, and control, right? We also know that narcissists lack the ability to empathize. We also know that narcissists are highly entitled. They have a high sense of entitlement where they believe that they should be able to have what other people have. And then once they perhaps get some of those things, they don't want it anymore because they are never satisfied, right? They need everything, and they need everybody to bow down to them because they believe they're better than everyone else. We all know those things, right? And so, yeah, those are all true things. So now we're going to talk about who is more dangerous than a narcissist. Some people would argue that an educated empath is more dangerous than a narcissist. Yeah, you would probably be right, because educated empaths. The thing with us, what's an educated empath for those who don't know? An educated empath is somebody who's been through the narcissistic experience and they know the game inside and out because they've been through it, right? That would be your educated empath, because and they could be they're to some degree dangerous to narcissists because they know the narcissist game. They know that they can expose the narcissist, and so the narcissist is now scared of the educated empath, right? So you would be right, you would be correct that it's a that educated empaths can be dangerous. Some people would also argue that another narcissist could be dangerous, a malignant narcissist. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Malignant narcissists are dangerous, and we know that they're more in the physical sense of dangerous, where they will cause physical harm, towards their targets, whoever they target. All these things are true. Yes, that these people can be, to some degree, dangerous. Um, the thing is, the educated empath, and we can't, and the educated empath, the thing with the educated empaths is that we don't go around causing harm to other people, right? We don't go around trying to destroy other people's lives on purpose, right? So yes, to some degree we can say an educated empath, that's true, but we're more looking at somebody who causes the same level of harm as a narcissist. You know what I'm saying? So those are true, but I want you to guys to be ready for what I'm about to say. So who is more dangerous than a narcissist? Meet the Machiavellian psychopath. Yes, meet the Machiavellian psychopath. This person is probably the most dangerous that anybody can ever encounter. The Machiavellian psychopath. Now, what exactly is a Machiavellian psychopath, and how did I come to this, that this is the most dangerous person to a narcissist? Well, Machiavellian psychopaths, and this is a combination of both a psychopath and somebody who's a Machiavellian, type person. Both these people combined together make an extremely dangerous combination, because these people, Machiavellians and psychopaths, they lack remorse. They have no remorse at all. Narcissists, on the other hand, they do lack remorse. That's true. But see, the thing with narcissists, and this is where you need to pay attention now. The difference between a narcissist and a psychopath is that narcissists are very concerned and hyper focused on their image. They're focused on how people see them. That's why they spend their whole life, crafting this image of who they want people to see them as, right? They want people to see them as this amazing person. They want people to see them as this, person that can blend into society, that can get good grades in school, that can have a family, that can get married, that can have a relationship, that can thrive in a sports team, that can recite scriptures. Narcissists want to create this picture that they are this normal person, right? But beneath it all, they are the polar opposite of who they portray themselves to be, right? So narcissists, they depend on, this image that of them being who they of them being somebody completely different than who they actually are, right? They depend on their image. Narcissists also, keep in mind, narcissists, they lack empathy, but they also, keep in mind, to a degree, they will only lack empathy only if it doesn't support their image. So, for example, I'm gonna give you guys an example. So, let's say that a narcissist is targeting someone. Yes, narcissists target people all the time. The thing is that it always depends on what people provide for them, right? Like you have to provide some sort of utility in order for the narcissist to target you, right? So let's say that, and that utility, that's something that they're targeting you for, is dependent on them, right? Because they will never tell you. Narcissists will never tell you what they're after you for, right? They will never give you an in on what it is that they're thinking, especially if it's a covert narcissist. Covert narcissists fly under the radar. They fight behind the scenes, right, without people knowing actually what is going on. Right? They steal people's money. Not they don't just come up to people and say, "Give me your money." Although some dangerous people, scammers and people who are dangerous, they do that. You've seen it in the movies, I'm sure. But narcissists don't quite do it like that, right? They do it in such a way that you will never know that they've stolen money from you, right? So what they will do is one day they will say, I need help with this. Now, hold on a second. I'm not trying to say that everybody who asks for help with money is a narcissist. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. I, in fact, have asked people for help with money many times, right? But I pay them back, and, if they want payback, I'll pay them. If they don't, then they know that they were just helping out, right? But I'm not trying to say everybody that asks for help is a narcissist. But the difference between us that asks for help for good and a narcissist that asks for help for bad is that narcissists ask for help for money because what they want to do is they want to eventually bleed that person dry of their financial resources. And then once that person is bled dry, then they go off to the next person and they do the same exact thing to the next person, right? Like they'll ask for help with this thing and then that person will give. And then next time they'll ask for help and then they'll give. And you probably ask yourself the question, why is it that the person, why do they keep on giving to the narcissist? Well, the answer to that question is that they keep on giving because they feel like they need to, right? They feel like it's the right thing to do, that if they don't give, they feel like they will be a bad person if they don't, right? But see, but that's money. That's in the financial sense. Let's say that somebody is stuck on the side of the road. Let's say, and let's say you help them out. You give them a ride, or you get them to their destination and whatnot. And then they keep asking you and asking you and asking you to do this, asking you to do that, asking you to do this, asking you to do that. Then you start to wonder, is this person using me for something? Is it me? Am I crazy? Well, the truth is that person is most likely a narcissist that's trying to grift off you and get a free ride off you, a freeload off of you, right? So narcissists, yeah, they do all these things and they fly under the radar. And they want to, and they do this because they don't want anybody to figure out who they actually are. That's why they manipulate. That's why they gaslight. That's why they smear campaign people's names, run people's names through the mud from the beginning, telling flat out lies about people, making up things about people that never actually happen. That's why they project their own insecurities onto other people so that they don't have to face the reality of what they are. That's why they do these things. They do these things as games, and they play games with people because the demons inside of them don't allow for them to actually accept people for who they are. Now, the difference between us with a psychopath is that psychopaths lack remorse, and they don't care who you are, what you have. If they have a thought in their mind to kill somebody, they will actually go and kill that person. Guaranteed. They will go and kill that person without even thinking about it, right? They don't care about their image. They don't care about how they look. Same with the Machiavellian. They don't care about how they look. They will literally kill a person if they need to, if they want to, right? And the thing with psychopaths too is that they plot and plan from the beginning, right? Narcissists, they plot and plan, yes, but they plot and plan in a different way, right? They plot and plan to manipulate what they can get from other people to manipulate. Right. And the thing with narcissists too is that when it comes down to planning, they have to actually watch from afar, and they actually have to see what benefit somebody serves to them, and then they will go and do their manipulations upon that person depending on what they provide for them. But see, psychopaths, they plan over a long extended period of time. These are the type of people that are destroying congregations, right? In churches and in roles of leadership, they're destroying congregations of people, and they're doing this over a long period of time, right? They're doing this, and they're doing it without people even knowing, right? And they're doing this, and that's mostly the Machiavellian that does that, right? That they plan and plan over an extended period of time. And the thing is, they plan very strategic, right? And when I say strategic, I'm talking everything from the time, like the actual time they're gonna do something, up until the actual way they're gonna do it. Like they have it all strategically planned out over a long period of time. Right? How they're going to destroy a congregation, how they're going to destroy a business, how they're going to destroy a company. Like they do this over a long extended period of time, right? And that's more than the narcissist, right? Because you have to remember too, that's another thing I wanted to talk about as well. Narcissists work in numbers, right? Narcissists can't do things by themselves. Right? They always need an ally. They always need somebody, helping them do something, right? Whereas the psychopath, they don't need any help from anybody. They will literally just kill a person just like that and not even care and not even have any remorse for that person. They won't care if they throw somebody out on the street, and it's the middle of winter. They literally don't have feelings for anybody, right? But see, the narcissists are different that way. It has to serve a purpose, right? It has to serve their image. If it serves their image to do that, then they'll do it. If it doesn't, then they'll be hesitant, right? But psychopaths and Machiavellians, they don't hesitate. They don't care, right? They'll kill a person, or they'll destroy something just like that, right? Because they don't care. All right, so the Machiavellian psychopath, these are the people that are abducting, young children, luring young children, to their houses and keeping them in the basements for who knows how long, and then they're doing things to them, like trying to like killing them and torturing them and things like that. They're doing things like that. You think about some of the world's most dangerous type of Machiavellian psychopaths. You think of Adolf Hitler. You think of Ted Bundy. You think of Jeffrey Dahmer, right? Some of the world's most serial killers and psychopaths and these type of people, Genghis Khan and Xiao Deng, I think that's his name, Chinese guy, right? Who destroyed many Chinese people in that country. You think of some of these people. Some of these psychopaths, they had this stuff strategically planned out over time, right? They were doing this over time without people even knowing, and they did it very grandiose as well, right? They also have a very grandiose side of themselves as well, where they they portray themselves as a certain way to the public, and then really they're not that way, and then they deceive people for throughout a whole long period of time. That's what these, Machiavellian psychopaths do. Now, I didn't mention sociopath by any means, and I didn't mention sociopath just because they're just as dangerous as a psychopath. The only difference is that between a psychopath and a sociopath is that sociopaths, they are very unorganized in how they destroy people. Right now, they're like a psychopath where they lack remorse, but to see the sociopath, they're very unorganized, and it's very easy for them to get caught, doing what it is that they're doing. Right, so they could potentially they're very close to a malignant narcissist, but they're still dangerous. They still meet the criteria of being close to of what a psychopath is. That's why I didn't mention them. So what I'm saying here, guys, is that's why I always say in my videos, be very, very careful of the people that you let into your life and who you get involved with, right? Because there are people out there that can be very, very dangerous, especially if it's a psychopath, right, or a Machiavellian. You be very, very careful also what you post online as well, right? Because these people, these predators, like psychopaths and Machiavellians, they're predators, and they prey on people online as well. Right? That's why you must be careful at what you respond to online. Be very careful at the calls that you get through your phone, what you respond to, because there are people out there that are very, very dangerous, that can actually set people up, especially on dating apps. A lot of these psychopaths and Machiavellians are on dating apps as well. They're everywhere, but I'm just trying to bring to the forefront, how dangerous they can be. If they're on dating apps, they can portray to be one person, and they can actually set people up. Like, say, meet me here, and then you meet them there, and then some other person shows up, and then before you know it, now it shows on next day's news that this person was found dead, by this person, because that person targeted them over a period of time. So that's what I'm saying, guys. There are people that are predators out there that are very dangerous. Don't think that everybody has your best interests at heart, or just because you met somebody in the church, or just because you met someone that shares the same belief system as you, or is in the same line of work as you and has the same amount of experience. Don't think that everybody has your best interests at heart. Now, I'm not trying to make this video to say that you should be paranoid and look over your shoulder and not be scared to talk to people. It's not what I'm saying at all. Because, there are still some really good people out there. There's a lot of really good people out there. So you ought to embrace what's out there. I'm just saying, just be very careful, right? Be self-aware. And if your gut is saying that something's wrong about a certain person, then listen up. Because they could potentially, because it's life or death out there, right? It's life or death. So be very, very careful, what you expose yourself to as well, right? Because there are predators out there, right? Don't put all your information about how much money you have, out there. Don't mention on, social media that you just got a boatload of money from an inheritance or something like that. Don't do any of that. Don't even talk about the fact that you just got promoted at work. Don't do any of that. Be careful what you post, because there are people out there, like I said, that just want to wreak havoc on other people's lives. There are people out there that are jealous and envious of other people. And when I say jealous and envious, I ain't just talking about, competition-wise. There's times where, people compete against each other, healthy competition, you have this, they have that, you compete with them if you know them, right? But I'm talking more about the fact that there are people that want what you have. And they will do anything they can to get what you have, right? If you have a nice looking spouse, let's say husband or wife, and you're posting all over social media how good they look, you never know who in another country wants that person that you have, right? So what I'm saying, guys, is just be very, very careful out there, right? There are people that are very, very dangerous, even more dangerous than a narcissist. Right? Remember what I said here. Narcissists are focused on their image. I'm reiterating it just because I'm about to close this video, that narcissists are worried about their image, right? Psychopaths are not worried about their image. They have no remorse. They do not care, what they have to do to get to get this or get that, because they've been studying the system way before a lot of us were on this planet. They've been doing this long before, way before any of us were on this planet, right? They do this stuff every day of their lives, right? Because that's what they do, right? Because generally psychopaths, the thing with psychopaths is that they like narcissists were born. Psychopaths are born and narcissists are born. Sociopaths are made, right? So psychopaths, they have sadistic tendencies like narcissists, but they lack remorse. They lack any remorse at all. They don't care about people, right? They will kill anybody who gets in their path whom they deem is a threat to them, right? Not narcissists do too, and I'm not saying narcissists aren't just as dangerous, but what I'm saying is that narcissists, their motives are a lot different, right? And narcissist motives are: does it serve my image? Does killing this person suit my image? Does stealing this person suit my image? Stealing from this person, does that suit my image? Right? It's all about their fragile image, right? That they craft for themselves. Every narcissist is after something different, right? Not every narcissist is after the same things with different people, right? They're all after different things with different people. Those things I can't name them because I'm not a narcissist, but I do know that narcissists, they all seek some sort of supply, right? And they all play games with people over a period of time. Whereas psychopaths, they just go right to it. They go right to it. Right? They don't care. They just go right for the killing, right? If they see a deer in the woods, they will literally get their gun and then they'll shoot them and then just walk away as if nothing happened, right? Whereas narcissists, it's all about their image, right? Do you guys understand the difference between narcissists and psychopaths? I'm getting to the grits of it, and I'm mentioning that these are the differences, right? They're dangerous, right? All of them are dangerous, but they have differences that make them dangerous, right? So the Machiavellian psychopath, though, is the most dangerous. Mark my words on that and write it down on a piece of paper. The Machiavellian psychopath is the most dangerous. They are more dangerous than they're dangerous. You wanna. That's why I'm saying you want to be very, very careful out there, right? Be very careful what you do, because remember I said, right? Machiavellian psychopaths, they plot and they plan over a long extended period of time, right? That you will never know about. Narcissists do too, but they do so if it's based on their image and they're worried about their image, how people will see them, right? So if they believe that somebody will find it out, or they're worried about this or that, they will withdraw and they will run away, right? But a psychopath, on the other hand, they plot and plan, and they do what they plan. Like they're not like the narcissist where they don't do what they plan. They do exactly what they plan. They have an agenda and they follow through on that agenda, right? So what I'm saying is, be very, very careful at the things that you get yourself involved with, right? Don't just think that, things are the way that they see, and just think that you can give certain people, different, other chances, right? Because not everybody in your life deserves a second chance. Some people, they should be kicked to the curb. Some people you should have, in your life from a distance. You need to be very, very careful at what is in your life, right? Because some things didn't come into your life to make your life better. Some things came into your life to destroy you, right? And those things you want to keep out of your life. Those people you want to keep out of your life. And yes, this includes family. Yes, this includes friends you've known for 20-something years or more. It doesn't matter who it is. People are people. Human beings are human beings, right? They all do this. They all do similar, things, that other human beings do, right? So just be very, very careful, right? If your senses are starting to go off, that something is wrong with a person, then listen to it. Take a step back and listen to it. Now, if it's a relationship and you really like this person, this guy or this gal, I would say, take your time. If you want to take a step back, I'm not saying, get rid of them tomorrow like that. That's not what I'm trying to say entirely. But what I'm trying to say is take your time and try to figure out why it is that you feel that way. If you're starting to notice patterns, like I said in my video before, pattern recognition, if you're starting to notice patterns of a narcissist, right? That they're ghosting, that they stonewall every time you bring up something that that every time you're mentioning something in a conversation that they don't like. Let's say that you're having a disagreement, and let's say that they flat out just disagree and they just stonewall, you just get up and walk away. if you're starting to notice patterns like that, then you know, okay, I've seen this before, I've heard this before. They don't care about me, they don't respect me. All they do is talk about themselves. Then you know that you should get rid of this person right away. But if they're not showing those signs, showing those signs over an extended period of time, then you know that perhaps this person's just not perfect, and you can decide whether you want them in your life or not, right? So just make sure that you understand, before you make any decision, especially when it comes to businesses as well. Machiavellian psychopaths, they do this in business as well, right? They'll plan over a long extended period of time. They have this thought in their mind from the get-go about the business that they're going to run with someone, or that what they're going to do with that company. They plan it over a long extended period of time, right? That they're going to destroy this way, starting here, and then they're going to finish destroying, ending there. Like, they had this all strategically planned out, right? So that's why I'm saying, be very, very careful, who you involve yourself with, right? Be very, very careful, especially if you live in a country. Especially if it's from another country and you're not familiar with them. Be very, very careful, because a lot of people that are overseas and that come into other countries, they're not coming for love and all those other different types of things. They have a whole nother different agenda, because they know in their mind that people that are in the opposite countries from them, that are in maybe third world countries or other countries, they know that those people are looking for, right? And then they show them what they want to see, they reel them in, and then before you know it, that person is getting drained of all their resources, right? And that's how Machiavellian psychopaths, they plan this stuff strategically out, and then they eventually kill that person, and then that person ends up on the next day's news. You guys understand it? Does it make any sense? Okay, so that's what I'm trying to say. That, remember, the Machiavellian psychopath is more dangerous than the narcissist. And I'm talking any narcissist. I'm talking the covert narcissist, the overt grandiose narcissist, the sadistic malignant narcissist, the paranoid narcissist, which I'll probably talk about, make a video about sometime soon. The religious narcissist, they're more dangerous than all narcissists, okay? So just note that, the Machiavellian psychopath. So guys, thank you so much for joining me here today on Narcissism 101 Cracking the Code with me, Paul Wisdom. If you would like a one-on-one session, please email me, paul.wisdom_03@hotmail.com, or you can send a text message to 647-406-3057. If you want to talk, if you want to vent, if you need some more advice, if you're trying to figure out whether the person you're dealing with is a narcissist or not, please feel free to reach out to me. I just want to reiterate again, please just send a text to the number, let me know your name, that you've been watching some of my videos, and then I can give you the help that you need. If you just call me, I may just block the number, just because I don't answer random numbers like that, okay? So just remember that. Like, subscribe, share it with somebody who you think could use this knowledge, share it with somebody who you think could be in trouble right now. Also, I put a link to my podcast below that I talk about of my narcissistic experience on a podcast. Please watch. There's part 1 and part 2. Please watch it or share it with somebody. Also, if you have any questions, if you have a suggestion of a video or something you would like for me to cover, or you have a question about something, please put it in the comments below, or you can reach out to me personally by text, and I'd be more than happy to get the knowledge out there. So thank you guys so much for joining me here today, and I hope to see you guys on the next video. Enjoy your day today. Enjoy whatever is going on in your life. And yeah, thank you guys so much.